I'd like to take a moment and introduce you to Medtronic, which is the global leader in medical technology. Today, the company has more than 45,000 employees around the globe, more than 9,000 scientists in the research and development and clinical research areas. We have just in 2013 issued more than 2,000 patents, and which makes it in the total like more than 20,000 patents that we as the company have. And we have annually, our turnover, our revenue is more than $16 billion, and almost half of it actually comes from markets from around the globe. But the company's beginnings were much more humble. The company started as many technology companies in the United States, in Minnesota, in a garage. Our founder, Earl Bakken, was an electrical engineer with a vision to help patients and people who suffer some kind of medical condition through the technology of electrics. He and his brother-in-law started this company, and they were servicing the hospital around the corner, the University of Minnesota, with their technology problems and repairing devices in the wards and whatnot. So during his work, he met a cardiac surgeon, Dr. Lillehei, who performed open heart surgeries. And what happened is, during one of these open heart surgeries, a child died during the operation because there was a blackout, an electronic blackout during the surgery. So the machine that kept the heart moving basically stopped operating. And so Earl was devastated, obviously, just knowing about this incident, and they got together and they came up with the concept of a battery-operated pacemaker that could actually work independently from the electric source. So the story of MiniMed, which is our diabetes division, is also a great story, but it didn't start, insulin pump therapy did not start with us. There was an engineer, Dr. Arnold Kadish, who was also a physician, who developed an insulin pump that I wouldn't say was very customer-friendly. As you can see, it was more of a size of a backpack. This is a picture that I'm sure many of you have seen before. That's really the beginning of insulin pumps and continuous insulin delivery from outside the body. But our founder, similarly to Medtronic, was an engineer, Alfred Mann, and he had the vision of miniaturizing and making this a device that the patients can carry and live with on a day-to-day basis. So MiniMed was founded in 1983 and released the company's first insulin pump at that time. So it's more than 30 years ago, right? This is now more than 30 years ago. In 2001, Medtronic actually acquired MiniMed, so we have become part of the larger Medtronic family. And our vision really hasn't changed over the past 30 years. The vision is fairly simple. We are trying to ease the emotional, physical, and cognitive burden of patients who live with diabetes by the application of medical technology. So we started out with insulin pumps, which deliver basal bolus therapy. We've then added continuous glucose monitoring. Continuous glucose monitoring was first introduced in 1999 in a retrospective device. And what that means is the information was not available for patients on a real-time basis. They did not see, they could not act on it. It was a Holter monitor concept. So patients got it, and took it home for 3 days, came back and downloaded the device with their healthcare professional and went through the readings. That's what was called CGMS, Continuous Glucose Monitoring System. The technology evolved, and while we still have the concept and often used in what's called in a professional continuous glucose monitoring way, so blinded continuous glucose monitoring, we've also integrated continuous glucose monitoring into pump therapy, so patients can actually see their glucose values on a real-time basis while wearing an insulin pump. I also want to emphasize that these two technologies, while integrated, can be used independently from each other. The integration took an even more important step when we've launched or introduced our first semi-automated closed-loop system, which is available actually today in Australia. But beyond the technology that we have visibly in our hands, it's very important that we also have access to patient data that is downloaded through our software from the pumps and from the continuous glucose monitoring. And that data obviously helps the patients manage their diabetes better, also helps you, the professionals, give better advice to the patients. But there is a third element, how we leverage that information, which is in product development. So this is the pump and the integrated CGM that is available today in Australia. And the concept of this device is the pump delivers insulin. Our sensor technology measures interstitial glucose value, sends it to the pump. The patient makes changes to their bolus and potentially their basal. But what's really novel about it is that in case of hypoglycemia, the pump is able to suspend automatically and stop insulin delivery for about 2 hours. So this has been a breakthrough, and we are still the only company in the world who has this technology in the pump, and that can truly change patients' lives and have them sleep much better, knowing that there is a device that would actually help not only ease the pain of hypoglycemia, but also prevent hypoglycemia. So there is a lot of excitement nowadays in Medtronic because we feel that we have the pillars of the technology, we have the evidence that it already works independently. So what we are trying to do is to bring them all together. Having this technology will be only, in our opinion, one half of the equation still. It's our vision, it's a dream for everyone with diabetes, but the technology where we invest annually $1.5 billion in Medtronic will need to be always supported with around-the-clock and around-the-world service, which is really, really important, and the team back there and the entire Australian team is really dedicated to help you